The inclusion comes after extensive consultations. It is important to note, initially, the leaders did not have a consensus on the expansion. CGTN's Robert Nagila joins me live now with a breakdown of the process. Robert, the process to admit more members continue, but what observations have you noted in the inclusion of these members?
Well, Penina, the BRICS leaders have always insisted that they have a certain criteria that they would follow for this membership process to allow new countries to come in. That was the message that we've heard all week leading up to this point. Now, you look at the way initially we had about 20 countries, we were told 23 countries that had applied to join the bloc. Only 6 countries were chosen. Now, obviously, having 23 countries coming in all at once would have been a challenging mission for the organization itself, because you're looking at logistics, administration issues, and so on. So it is understandable that 6 countries were chosen in the initial stage. But however, there is also a strategic angle to all this. Up until this point, along the African continent, there's just been one country that's been a member of BRICS. That was South Africa. Now you have Egypt, you have Ethiopia as well. That is North Africa and close to Eastern Africa as well. You go to the Middle East, you've got Saudi Arabia, Iran, and you've also got the United Arab Emirates. Interestingly, Saudi Arabia and Iran, up until recently, were not seeing eye to eye. And China came in with diplomacy, brought the two together, and now they have diplomatic ties. So there's a geopolitical angle to this as well. And then further, you've got in South America, where you previously just had Brazil, now you also have Argentina. Now you connect the dots and you begin to see a network forming, a network that's going to be very important in the future in terms of trade. So they're looking ahead. We know that they've already tasked their foreign ministers, as Daniel was saying in his story, to begin the process of looking at new membership coming in. And they will then report to the leaders next year at the BRICS summit in Russia, in Kazan, in September 2024. So this is a ball that's been set, that is rolling already, and it's beginning to have shockwaves within the global system. Penina?
Well, Robert, we also know there was much talk at the beginning of this summit about the possibility of introducing a common currency. What do we know about these deliberations?
Well, we know that they talked about it, but from what we understand, they've not reached a consensus yet, because there are still quite a few details that they need to iron out. So these talks will continue into next year. Whether they'll reach a consensus then, we don't know. However, I'd just like to point out as well that it would have been really difficult for them to reach a consensus on using a single currency as to trade between the member states, because you already have this new members coming in, and ostensibly you're going to need to include them in these talks moving forward. So these are talks that are likely to go into the future before they reach an agreement, but from the mood around this summit, they are dead serious about going ahead with this. So this is something that's begun, and they're going to see it through.